Welcome to another Super Deluxe Edition unboxing video. Today we're going to look at this Bonzo Dog Doodah Band box set, which is called Still Barking. Now the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, they sort of started in the early 60s, a kind of comedy, sort of jazz art school tradition. Eventually they kind of morphed into more of a psychedelic, still sort of comedic kind of rock band towards the end of the 60s. They released 5 albums, and they're best known for being quite influential in terms of Monty Python in particular. They appeared on a children's program called Do Not Adjust Your Set, which featured many future Pythons at the time. But they did record 5 albums in the end, 5 studio albums, and they almost became sort of a serious mainstream success for a while. They had a hit called The Urban Spaceman, which was co-produced by Paul McCartney, but eventually they kind of split up at the end of the 60s, early 70s, and then did a kind of contractual obligation final album in 72, I think it was. But they did loads of radio sessions. They did do some sporadic touring in America. There was a few sort of slightly shambolic episodes in America, but they played Fillmore East, they did sort of various things. So there's certainly enough history to justify a box set. This is a 20 disc box set, which is 17 CDs and a DVD. It's been produced by Madfish, and very much in the traditional style of these kind of normally pretty impressive deluxe box sets that Madfish put out. So let's lift off the lid and take a look. So there we go, sturdy lift-off lid box set, and the label that the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, or they later became known just as the Bonzo Dog Band, but the label they signed with is an American label called Liberty Bell, and the first thing in this box set is a replica press release telling you all about the band. So that's at the top. Now there's a nice poster here. This very much shows you the kind of Monty Python influence. There's a big poster there, sort of Terry Gilliam-esque. And then there's a few band prints here. This is, as you can see, it's got that kind of late 60s psychedelic kind of edge to it. There's a black and white one, and there's another one there. These are the various prints here of band members. I mean, Vivian Stanshall was in the band, Neil Innes, who later went on to do Rutland TV, that kind of stuff. Obviously some of these band members are no longer with us, but where they are still in the land of the living, we've got some signed photos in this box set. Rodney Slater there. So these prints are housed in this little sort of plastic wallet here. One of the most impressive features about this particular box set is this hardback book, Bonzo Dog Band. I think this is like 178 pages, something like that. There's an amazing amount of great text in this book. So very good contributions from the like of Stephen Fry at the beginning here. Very moving kind of few pages from Neil Innes's widow, Yvonne. Talks about Neil, obviously, in very loving terms, and very interesting stuff about Neil's approach to the band and life in general. And yeah, I mean, this just goes on and on. There's remembrances of the various band members and musicians that are in the band. But I mean, there's quite famous names contributing to this, including Pete Townsend and sort of Mike McCartney. Some of them are pulled in from previous biographies or books, so John Entwistle is a good example of that. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty spectacular in terms of the amount of detail in this book. So it goes on and on and on. At the back here, there's some quite detailed listings, a sort of chronology of events. It starts in 66 and just tells you really what they're up to. Goes all the way through to the early 70s. There's A whole section here. They did a lot of BBC sessions, the Bonzos, with John Peel and various other people, Top Gear, all those kind of programs in the 60s. So all that's documented on the discs as well. And all the track listings for all the bonus audio content is here, so we'll look at that. But yeah, tremendous book. Absolutely outstanding, really. But then to the discs themselves, so this box is it's 20 discs, but lots of them are in little gatefold packages, so it doesn't look as many as you might think from this box here. But this is a kind of foam insert, which is the kind of high quality way of doing it. And then there's two banded selections of discs here, you see. So the studio albums are on the top. So Gorilla was their first album, that's from '67. And the early albums, you get mono and stereo versions. So these are 2 disc selections. So you get the mono version on one disc and the stereo version on the second disc. That's what the discs look like. Same with the second album. This is called The Donut in Granny's Greenhouse. Again, this was '68, this album was. But you get 2 CDs, mono and stereo. And then moving on to this second pile here, the third album was called Tadpoles. This was from '69. In fact, the third and the fourth album were from '69. So by this point, it was just stereo only recordings. So there's no need to have the 2 discs. Keynsham was the fourth album. This again was '69. It's got kind of this vinyl replica job, so side 1, side 2. And then they kind of split up in the early '70s as sort of farewell, a few farewell gigs. But this is the classic Contractual Obligation album. They came back. They decided to call it Let's Make Up and Be Friendly, which is appropriate enough. So there's the CD there. So that's it for studio albums. As I say, the first 2, there's 2 discs, and then the final 3, there's a disc each. So that's 7 CDs for the studio albums. And then there's just loads of compilations of different aspects of the band's career. So this disc here covers singles. So bearing in mind that some of the singles wouldn't have been on the albums, like I'm the Urban Spaceman, etc. 27 songs on here. Again, it's another gatefold package. So that's the singles. What else have we got in this pile? So there's Madness at the Manor, live at the Marquee Club. Of course, none of these have been released before. So actually, this consists of 2 things. This is rehearsals at the Manor studio, which was Richard Branson's studio, where albums like Tubular Bells ended up being recorded. So a kind of rehearsal session there. Then there's the actual live album from 1967. And then there's a disc here of in the studio Bonzo backings. These are backing tracks, presumably, of the various recordings. Now there are some DVDs which we'll look at in a minute, but there's a whole raft here of demos and outtakes, 2 discs of demos and outtakes. Again, another gatefold package. So that's 33 selections on here. Demos and outtakes volume 1, demos and outtakes volume 2, mostly mono, but there's quite a few stereo tracks as well. So there's alternate mixes, alternate mono mixes, dialogue tracks, uncut versions, acetate versions, demos, etc. So obviously very interesting if you're a fan. And then I mentioned about the BBC sessions. They did loads of BBC sessions. This is a 6-panel package, so to hold the 3 discs. But as you can see, I mean, it starts off with November '67, Top Gear, Saturday Club, and then we go all the way down to December '69. So there's kind of a couple of years worth of sessions there. And then finally, there's a live selection here. So this is 2 discs here. So I said they went to America. So this is them October 17th, '69, Fillmore East. And there's some other bits and bobs here in a radio station, Amsterdam, Paradiso. And then there are 3 DVDs, and there's loads of content on these DVDs. So the first DVD here is called Starters. and it's just a compilation of different things. There's a Neil Innes art school film, appearance on Blue Peter, New Faces, Beat Club, Star Parade, Urban Spaceman US promo. So really interesting selection of stuff on that one. This is amazing, this second one, because it's got Do Not Adjust Your Set episodes December 67 to March 68. So these are, well, these are performances on the Do Not Adjust Your Set show, which was a very important part of the band's career and the sort of springboard to success for them. So yeah, so as I say, December 67 to March 68, we've got various performances here, including Death Cab for Cutie, which was the song that they did on the Magical Mystery Tour film, because they appeared in that film. All region free, as you'd expect with these discs. And then finally, third disc, Dessert. So on this disc we've got a Colour Me Pop performance, a jazz festival performance, and various other things. So that's it, we've got the 3 DVDs. Should go back in there. And then we've got the 17 CDs in total, which fit quite nicely on the top. This hardback book. Got a little ribbon below to help you access it. And then we've got the prints, some of which are signed, the band prints here, the poster, and the press release that goes on the top. And then the lid goes back on. So I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing video. This has been the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band Still Barking box set, 17 CDs, 3 DVDs. If you have enjoyed the video, why not subscribe to the Super Deluxe Edition YouTube channel for more great physical music unboxed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.